Perek Chelek Daf Kuf Daled, sponsored the Refuah Shlema for Yonah Binyamin ben Devorah Chava. Micha was not listed with the commenters in the Mishnah as one who lost his share in the world to come. Micha was from Shevet Ephraim. He worshipped an idol he made, encouraging others to worship as well. It was in Garav, a place so close to Mishkan Shiloh that smoke from his sacrifices mixed with the smoke of the Karbanos. Why was he spared from the same fate as Yeravam? Both encouraged idolatry. Rabbi Bar Meri answered, he provided for the poor. However, the commentaries differ as to whether the merit of his achnosas orchim outweighed his sin to such an extent that he entered the world to come, or only did not suffer the embarrassment of his fate being publicly mentioned in the Mishnah. Micha's historical background. When leaving Egypt, Moshe wrote the Shema Meforosh on a plate, dropped it in the Nile to raise Yosef's coffin, and transport it out of Egypt. Based on a verse, Ve'ovar bayom tzara, a rival shall pass through the sea, Rabbi Yochanan explains Micha retrieved it and used it to fashion an idol he carried with him crossing Yam Suf, or used to conjure up the golden calf. Consequence of Pesel Micha for Klal Yisrael. A tragic civil war broke out between all the tribes and Binyamin because they did not punish the perpetrators of Pilegesh Begiva, killing so many from both sides. Rabbi Nassan explains this happened because the tribes were enraged by the behavior of the tribe members of Binyamin, but no action was taken to destroy the idolatrous temple of Micha, a grave dishonor to Hashem. Rabbi Yochanan explains the significance of Hachnasas Orchim. Number one, Merachekes Hakrovim. Despite the close proximity of Ammon and Moab to Eretz Yisrael, they were deprived to intermarry forever with Jews because they did not offer the Jewish nation food during their travels before they entered Eretz Yisrael. Number two, Mekareves Harachokim. Because Yisro instructed his daughters to invite Moshe to dine with him, Kir on lo vayochel lechem, his descendants eventually sat on the Sanhedrin. Number three, Malem esayin me'arashayim, causes Hashem to overlook one sin such as Micha. Number four, Mashra Shechina al Nevi'ei Sheker, Hashem rests his presence on false prophets. A prophet of Baal lied to the prophet Edo, but because he fed him, he received a true prophecy that he conveyed to Edo. Number five, Shigugaso olezadon, one inadvertently did not provide hospitality, is viewed as an intentional violation. Had Yonasan provided food for David, not just warning him of his father's intentions, he would have saved the Kohanei Nov. Two reasons Achaz was not included in the kings of the Mishnah who lost their share in the world to come. Number one, he came in between two righteous kings, Yoisam and Chizkiyahu. Number two, when confronted by the Navi, he hid his face in embarrassment for his sins. The Gemara distinguishes between Menasseh and Ammon. Ammon was not mentioned because of his son Yoshiyahu, who earned merits for his father. Parents live on through their children, and to some extent their righteousness can be influenced even by an evil parent. However, a righteous father such as Chizkiyahu could not protect his son Menasseh. Consequently, Achaz may have not been mentioned to honor Chizkiyahu, not because he was embarrassed for his sins. Jehoiakim was also not mentioned in the Mishnah. Written on his skull was Zos v'od acheres, referring to two punishments he suffered that atoned for his sins. He was buried like an animal, his skull initially strewn in the streets of Yerushalayim and subsequently burned. Sins of Chizkiyahu that caused the subsequent exile, serving of his descendants as stewards in the palace of the enemy. Number one, he prayed Hashem heal him from his critical illness because of his good deeds. Number two, this caused him to request a sign from Yeshayahu that Hashem would heal him, not trusting the word of the prophet. Number three, he invited ambassadors of idolatrous kings to dine in his palace. He waited on them, some say his wife as well, or showed them his treasures or his sophisticated weapons. The Gemara explains verses from Eicha. Number one, the numerical value of Eicha is 36, equal to 36 Karis violations the nation committed. Number two, the chapters of Eicha are alphabetical acrostics indicating Torah violations written in Aleph Beis. Number three, Yoshva Badad, the nation became isolated and shunned by all. Number four, Hayura Basiyam, families married off teenagers to adults to increase their birth rate. Number 5, Haisa Kalmana, she was like a widow whose husband is away so long but plans to return. 6, Sarisi Bamdinos, wherever the nation was exiled, they became princesses of their masters. Number 7, Bachotiv Kebalayla, the verse states a double expression of crying for each temple. The night symbolized the night after the Dor HaMidbar heard the report of the spies and cried needlessly. Neighbors are more aware of crying at night and cry along with those suffering. Number 8, Dimasal Lechia is Miloshan Lach, freshness, youth. She cried endlessly for the husband of her youth. Number 9, Hayut Zarel Rosh, before our persecution, Hashem makes our persecutor great, not to shame us. Number 10, Lo Alechem Ovrei Derech, before revealing misfortune to another, wish it not to befall the listener. Number 11, Alechem Ovrei Derech, despite the fact that the sins of Yerushalayim were worse than Sodom, it was favored over Sodom because Yedei Nashim Rachmanios Bishlu Yaldei, and they shared their children with their starving friends. Number 12, Sila Kol Abirai, the mighty men of Yerushalayim were trampled upon Miloshan Misila V'Nifsala as a coin. Number 13, Patzu Alayich Pihem, Patsu, the pay in this verse preceded the ayin because the spies reported with their mouths what they did not see with their eyes. If you're enjoying Daf and 5, please click on the link below, subscribe, and become a sponsor. Thank you.